We have discussed about the literary sources of information, about the philosophical and religious development that took place between the 6th century BC and 6th century AD. That is a very important source of information for us about that period. But architectural sources which were constructed during that period of time by different rulers, that also is extremely important to understand the philosophical and religious development taking place during that period of time, that is the 6th century BC onwards. One of them is the Sanchi Stupa. The first question that arises in our mind is, what is a stupa? Stupa is a Buddhist architectural monument, a dome-shaped Buddhist architectural monument which is constructed on some relics, on some mortal relics of Lord Buddha or some Bodhisattvas. So these are places of very great religious importance for the Buddhist, and these had been a place of pilgrimage for the Buddhist or the believers of the Buddhist religion. There are many different types of architectural monuments that were constructed during that period of time, and that tells us about the changes that took place in the field of philosophy and religion during that period of time. For example, not only stupas but chaityas, vihars. We all know about the pillars that were constructed at different places by Ashoka. So these are some of the important religious architectural monuments that were constructed during the 6th century BC onwards, between this period of 6th century BC and 6th century AD. And we are today talking about the Sanchi Stupa. Well, the stupas that were constructed during that period of time, many of them have been destroyed. But today we are lucky that the stupa that was constructed at Sanchi in the Kankera village, that we have intact. The archaeologists have preserved it, and we can see it by ourselves that what the construction of the stupas used to be. There were many stupas constructed at different places. For example, at Amravati, the stupa over there has been destroyed, but some of the remains are still over there, and we'll be talking about that also in the architectural monuments related with the Buddhist religion during that period of time. So we will be basically confining today on the Sanchi Stupa. As I told you, among the architectural monuments, stupas, chaityas, vihars and pillars are extremely important sources of information about the history of that period of time, especially the philosophical and religious developments that took place during that period of time. Stupas were dome-shaped structures which were built over the sacred relics of Buddha or of a sacred monk who were known as Bodhisattvas. Whereas the chaityas were shrines which were places of meditation of Buddhist monks. Vihars were Buddhist monasteries where the monks used to reside, especially during the rainy season. Whereas the pillars were constructed to propagate the ideas of the Buddhist religion. Pillars were installed at different places which were of religious importance, and the ideals of the Buddhist religion was engraved on that, so that the people could know by themselves what the Buddhist religion was and what it wanted the people to follow and how they could get salvation. The places associated with life and activities of great people come to be recognized into sacred places. For example, the places like Lumbini, where Buddha was born, Bodh Gaya, where Buddha attained enlightenment, Sarnath, where he delivered his first sermon, Kushinagar, where he attained nirvana, came to be regarded as sacred places of Buddhism. It is worth mentioning that Ashoka the Great visited Lumini, the birthplace of Buddha, and he also built a pillar there in memory of his visit. Not only it was for his memory, but also there are many things inscribed on it related with the religion and also about Ashoka's Dhamma, which he wanted the people to follow. These become a source of religious importance, and also these were the source of transmitting the ideas of Lord Buddha to the people, common people. The stupas were built over sacred relics like tooth, ashes, either of Buddha himself or a sacred monk of Buddhism. The relics were generally placed in a casket in a small chamber in the center of the base of the stupa. The tradition of building stupa may have been pre-Buddhist, but they attained much popularity as an emblem of both Buddha and Buddhism. In one of the Buddhist literature, Ashok Vandana, a Buddhist text, it is mentioned that Ashoka distributed portions of the Buddha's relics to every important town and ordered the construction of stupas over them. Stupas had been constructed at Bharot, Sanchi, Amravati, Sarnath by the 2nd century BC. The stupas were often built with donations made for building them. The kings, wealthy persons, guilds of the merchants and artisans, and even monks and nuns made donations for building stupas. Records of donations that were made for building and decorating the stupas are also found on the railings and the pillars of the stupa. The stupas used to be constructed on a very well-defined plan. In the stupa, a hemispherical dome used to be built on a low circular base which was known as anda. Now above the anda, there used to be another structure called harmika. The harmika was like a balcony, like a balcony over the hemispherical structure, and it was considered to be the seat of God. This was of very great religious importance. There used to be a mast in the middle of the harmika at the top of the stupa, which was called yasti, and was surrounded by a chhatri, a umbrella-like structure, which was known as Chhatravali. The whole stupa, since it was of very great religious importance, it was separated from the sacred place, from the secular world, by a railing or a boundary wall, which was built around the mound under which the casket containing the remains of Buddha or the Bodhisattva used to be kept. So stupas used to be of very great religious importance for the followers of the Buddhist religion, and these were the places of pilgrimage for the followers of Buddhist religion. But unfortunately, most of the stupas that were constructed, either we have not been able to locate, or they might be present in the form of mounds of mud, which we hope that in future we will be able to excavate them. But most of the stupas that were there had been destroyed. There had been various reasons for their destruction, but we are fortunate that the stupa at Sanchi, we have been able to preserve that, and we can view it and understand the religious ideas and the developments in the field of religion that took place during the 6th century BC onwards in our country.